before we watched catch-up TV on one of these, we used to use one of these. It's a VHS tape. And you wouldn't so much watch it as put it into a big machine full of electronics and mechanics. And then you'd have to record on it in real time. No downloads or streaming. You're paying attention, Gen Z. And then before you could watch it, you'd have to stop recording and rewind the tape back to the beginning again. And then, after more whirring and clunking, slowly a picture would emerge. It wasn't always a very great picture, but for the first time, you could actually record live TV.
And from California, we wish to them to Belfast for part 3 of Good Evening.
Tonight at 7:30, it's Taps On for the return of the show that brings people together. For Boxing Day on HTV.
In a few minutes, we'll be going over to the studios of ITN in London for the news.
Thursday evening on HTV Wales.
With Typhoon.
Get it inside your bones. You must get up that hill as fast as you can. Get smash.
Greetings from a lady who's 80 years young. Here's a tune, Mrs. Katie Jones of Harlech.
Good evening. This is the news from ITN. Tonight's headlines.
The crumbliest, flakiest milk chocolate in the world.
Remembering Magic Moments on HTV.
Good evening, it's been a pretty unpleasant day today from the eastern and southern parts of Britain. See why on the clouds.
I'm going to tell you how it's going to be. The Scotch's lifetime guarantee. Take what you want both night and day. And re-record, fade away. Re-record,
You know,
fade away.
you can take
Scotch, it's guaranteed for life.
And you could play it back and watch it as many times as you wanted, up until, of course, the tape got stuck inside the machine. And it wasn't just VHS. If you were a discerning individual, you might have bought Betamax, or for an early adopter, Philips VCR format, which was later replaced by Video 2000. You could use both sides of the tape. Clever, when it worked. And then for your camcorder, VHS-C, which you'd put into an adapter to play it back. Or there was a Video 8 from Sony. And in the 90s, we went digital with Mini DV. But did you know broadcasters also used videotape? Like this. It's not Betamax, but Betacam. And this would go inside a broadcast camcorder. And Betacam came in a variety of different flavors. There's Betacam SP for superior performance. And there's Betacam SX, which was digital and apparently vanilla flavored. And then even higher quality was digital Betacam. And there were rival formats too, like M2 from Panasonic. And then there were digital formats like DVC Pro and DV Cam. And before that, big chunky things like these, U-matic tapes, which came in 2 different sizes. And how about this? This is a large format Betacam SP tape for playing in studios. If you think that's big, have a look at this. This is an open reel tape, not a cassette, which is tiny in comparison to this. This is a reel of 1-inch wide videotape known as C format, which is actually smaller than the first system, which used 2-inch tape and was known as quadruplex. Video recording was first introduced in 1956, and the machines were huge and very expensive. The Ampex VR1000 was the first machine commercially available and cost the equivalent of £453,000 in today's money. Tapes and machines got increasingly smaller over the decades. By the mid-90s, cassette tapes began to replace these open reel formats. Loading a tape is a lot more complicated than pushing in a cassette. In fact, it's quite an art to feed the tape around the mechanism before you can use it. Videotape revolutionised television production. No longer did everything need to be live or recorded on film. Videotape had two unique features. It could be played back instantly, no need to wait for it to be developed, and the tape could be reused again and again. In fact, this feature caused archivists a major problem. In the past, nobody considered future generations might be interested in watching old TV programs. Why would they? TV was new, so viewers were treated with new and exciting things to watch. So, once a program had been broadcast, the tape it was on was erased so it could be used again. And that's why there's missing episodes of BBC programs like Doctor Who and Top of the Pops. Naughty BBC. Over on ITV here in Wales, we were more attached to our carefully crafted programs. Most of the time. More on that in a minute. The National Library of Wales in Aberystwyth is now home to 16,000 cans of film and 340,000 videotapes, containing about 1 million clips of ITV in Wales since 1958, and is rather unique.
Wales is really at the forefront of keeping film and television archive, and it's something we should be very proud of, and we're also very lucky. In Wales, all our archive is bilingual as well. So there's 2 sets of everything, you know, there's 2 films for every item. That doesn't happen in other parts of the world, you know, it's a single language archive. This is a bilingual archive, so it's double the size of many other archives. The Welsh archive is one of the biggest television and film archives in the world.
The archive tells the story of nearly a century of Welsh life. It also reflects how broadcasting in Wales changed over the years.
ITV started in 1955. The very first programmes broadcast for Wales, into Wales, were from Granada in 1956, and they were broadcast into the north of Wales with a series called Dewch I Mewn, particularly, that stands out. But officially ITV started in Wales with TWW in 1958.
TWW, South Wales and the West.
And Stars Rise in the West was the first programme they show. It was the launch show for TWW on that channel.
Right, and we've got it here.
And we have it here, and we can show it to you.
On this great occasion, when Wales and West have at last got their independent TV station, I've arranged for some of our own stars to come along so you can play tribute to them.
It was all going so well for the new ITV company serving Wales and the West. That is, up until 1968, when the regulator, known as the ITA, awarded the franchise to Harlech, later known as HTV. TWW didn't take this very well.
When TWW lost the licence, people were very, very unhappy about it. I think a lot of people who'd worked hard establishing Welsh television through TWW over the last 10 years, they'd created very popular television. There was no evidence that they had failed in their task in providing quality Welsh television. It was quite an acrimonious end to the TWW story.
So the first programme was Stars Rise in the West. Their last programme, when they lost the franchise, wasn't it All Good Things Come to an End or something like that?
Correct.
And you've got that here?
Yes.
Good evening. All good things have to come to an end, and this is TWW's last show.
I don't really need a cue either. I've just come from one at the Labour Exchange. I don't know. All this talk about people leaving Wales to look for work, I had to come here to find it. Mind you, this isn't what you call a steady job tonight. Not yet, not yet.
And that was the end of TWW. On Harlech's first night, things didn't go quite so well.
The first Harlech programme was an extravaganza from the Bristol studio. featuring top stars at the time, Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor, but it was a total disaster. Everything went wrong during the night. There were electricity cutouts, things didn't work, the sound was all over the place. There was many accusations of sabotage, that some TWW staff deliberately sabotaged the whole thing in order to make Harlech look bad. More likely that it was just, first night nerves and they didn't quite get it right. The urban myth is that one of the producers had a copy of the programme as he was driving home from Bristol, and it was so bad he threw it over the Severn Bridge into the river, and we've never seen it. Nobody's ever seen it again, basically.
What a shame.
Yeah. But if anybody out there has a copy, I'd love to
get in touch.
Please get in touch, yeah.
So in the space of just a few months, in 1968, ITV in Wales went from TWW to this emergency stopgap service, because TWW walked off on a bit of a strop, to the new company, which was Harlech. But this item didn't last very long, presumably because it gave viewers such a headache watching the thing. So it was replaced just 2 years later with the now familiar HTV logo. But we only know about this because they're kept in the archives.
The cost of keeping these collections far, far outweighs any income you can make from it, So it's actually a bit of a miracle that any of the archive has been kept at all. It's depended a lot on people who are interested in history and have kept it against all the odds, really, for future generations. And all these machines now are really old as well. And it's just a bit of a miracle that they keep going. And every morning you sort of switch them on and pray that they're going to come on and play something.
TWW and HTV never really went away. They're still alive on these tapes. Now, the National Library is gradually making them available for everyone to watch online. They don't make telly like this anymore, and audiences are starting to miss the coziness of old regional telly. This isn't a pile of old repeats, it's a treasure trove of nostalgia, and in these uncertain times, interest in them is growing.